And welcome to the Review Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's comedy series In the Cabin with Bert Kreischer. Now's the time to jump down in the comments. Let me know, have you ever heard of Bert Kreischer? Have you seen any of his comedy stand-up routines? Do you know of who he is? And which is your favorite stand-up comedian? But for now, let's jump into this review.
I feel like Mary Tyler Moore.
So there's 5 episodes, about 25 minutes to half an hour episodes, and I wasn't sure what to expect. I'd seen a little bit of the trailer. I'd actually never heard of Bert Kreischer. It's not a comedian that I follow, although I do love watching stand-up. Some works for me, some don't. I guess it's all down to what is your kind of flicks your switch for a comedy, what makes you laugh. I guess that's very different for everybody else. This intrigued me because this is basically Bert having done too much. He's worked too much, so he decides to go on a retreat. And it's meant to be by himself. He's meant to just be chilling out, but he can't handle the silence. So he turns it into a TV series and invites all his friends. And so on various different episodes, throughout the episodes, he tackles different themes, no pain, no gain. And so he has different comedian guest stars. Some you'll probably recognize, some maybe not so much. Some you'll be like, I love them. And that for me was always one of the best things about the series, was seeing what they got up to with the guest. And I found myself laughing a lot more than I expected, mostly because what they were going through was not something that I wanted to go through, but to see what they were going through made me laugh a lot. We're talking about everything that you could possibly do, really, in the outdoors, by a cabin, to relax. So we're talking about cigars with weed in them. We're talking about jacuzzis. We're talking about enemas. We're talking about waxing. Random things that I never expected to see Bert be doing, or this type of theme in a comedy show. And I have to say, some of the intros caught me off guard. I barely laughed, but also cringe laughed at the same time, because there was stuff that was showing is definitely for mature audiences, so bear that in mind. What the fuck? If, how do I give an example? If you're not ready to see ballsack and the underskirts of Bert's anus, then this is not going to be for you, because for most of the time he's quite naked. Even though they blur it out a lot of the time, there is just adult maturity and content throughout comedy, and it's really funny in places. When it's not funny, it's just really entertaining to see how he learns to deal with life. I think all of us can relate to this somewhat, about trying to relax and what it takes to relax. And so the themes he's tackling, sometimes the themes do get a little bit, I guess, real, and that's great. He's tackling real subjects, but the way you see Bert handle it, hilarious.
Are you in rehab?
No, I'm not in rehab.
Obviously, it's somewhat real and somewhat not real, because you've got the crew there, and it's pitched like he's telling his wife for the first time she doesn't know, like she didn't know what was going to happen. Obviously, she did. It was obviously a big plan. It's in conjunction with Netflix. They're doing this series, and so there's a little bit of the sense of disbelievability there, where you have to kind of just put that aside and go, okay, so obviously a scripted show, they have an idea, they have certain pitches, but for the most part, it's off the cuff, because he wanted to get his guests to experience these things.
I love you for this bullshit.
I think one of the great things about this series is that because you have so many different talented comedians in this series, they all bring something new, some different sort of comedy or levity to the episode. And they all react to the situations that Bert creates or thrusts them in different ways. And seeing how they react to that is great. But at points in the episode, Bert also asks them some really deep questions about their parents, about their upbringing, about comedy. And you get to see the little insight behind comedians and the lifestyle and what that means. And so that, I thought, brought a bit of realism to it, a bit more like, there's a point to all this, other than just seeing Bert do crazy things in trying to relax, trying to find out a way of how to stop himself from working all the time, bringing a balance to your work-life schedule. As a content creator, I know this because I've always got lined up reviews that I need to be doing, stuff that I'm always editing. I'm working 12 hours a day to make this YouTube thing a reality, and also my writing. So the balance between life and family and working, I think, is something that everybody goes through somewhat, so you will be able to relate to it. But it is really funny. Well, at least it flicked my switch. There were moments that I was belly laughing. I think there was one moment where I was cry laughing. So let me know in the comments below, have you heard of him? Which is your favorite episode? Did you find it funny? Did you find it enjoyable to watch? I think it's worth your time. I'm going to give this a B+. Thanks so much for watching this review, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long Tuesday.